everyone, welcome to Manifest Hub. My name is Tolu Ade. Thank you for joining me on another edition of Manifest Hub. So today we will be talking about connecting with other young adults in your local church or connecting with your young adults ministry in your local church. So I'm going to be giving you some tips, really, easy things that a lot of times we do, or, they're really easy to execute or do for whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, you can at least do one of them, okay? So I hope you find them useful. So you might be in that position where you are new to a church and you just don't know where to begin. You either maybe moved because you got a new job in a new city and you had to move, or maybe we changed churches. Maybe you moved, like your church is too far, or you just found a church that you really like and you want to start going there. But then, as we know, as human beings, we are not an island. We crave connections. We crave community. In as much as people will tell you, oh no, I just go to church to meet God, I just want to mind my business. It's a lie. We all crave community. We all welcome community. A lot of times, we're too intimidated, or we just don't know how to connect with other people or how to go about it. So, you're new to a church. Where do you begin? How do you navigate your way to just kind of be a part of that body, as the Bible talks about? So first things first, I would say observe, right? So as you know, I am big on buzzwords, like give you words for you to remember. So observe. So essentially, people watch is what I'm asking you to do. Observe to understand the culture and the dynamics of the church as a whole, and of the young adults in the church. Like, just observe. Again, like, observe without a filter. Just observe. Like, when you're observing, like, as many science students that would know, you're just really writing down what you see, right? You're not trying to put your own filter to explain it. No. Just kind of observe what you see. That's really what you're doing. You're people watching. As many of you that, I'm a big traveler. I really like traveling. So one of the reasons why I would actually want to go to the airport early is people watch. I love people watching. It's just interesting. So yeah, just people watch at your church. The goal, again, is to understand the culture and understand the dynamic. From there, you're able to identify, especially if you're a really shy person or introverted person, you're able to identify fellow shy people like yourself that you can easily talk to. You're able to identify the, how do I say, the movers and the shakers. I want to make sure doesn't come off kind of weird, but really just able to identify like who is who kind of thing, right? Again, not with filters. You're just really trying to understand this new ecosystem that you found yourself. Okay, so observe. That's really what you want to do first. And then after you're done observing, again, you still continue to observe. The next thing I would say is be present. So observe, be present. So what does that mean? It's not just about like, getting rid of your phone. It's about actually, it just means just that, be present. Like, there are a lot of people that, a lot of times I would run into young adults, like maybe would have a young adult event, or like I do this thing where I try to meet a new young adult every Sunday. So I really go seeking out for them. I would go introduce myself. Remember, I said in my previous videos, like I was more introverted. I was more the behind the scenes kind of person, but like leading young adults ministry has kind of forced me to just really come out and be extroverted. But this is like, it's not my real, it's not my default setting, being extroverted. So yeah, I would talk to some people and I would say, oh, are you new here? And they're like, oh, no, I've been coming here for a while. And I'm just like, I ain't never seen you before. So yeah, be present. So part of that is, don't just rush off. Like, okay, I understand like the shy ones, they would just sneak in during praise and worship and, try to sneak out before the grace is done. But don't rush off. Like, stick around a little bit. I know some churches can be a little bit daunting because they might seem like they don't have a friendly demeanor. So just stick around a few minutes. It wouldn't kill you to wait after grace. If you can, maybe just say hi to the ushers. Like, the ushers, they have to say hi back. So at least, those people will say hi back. Just say hi, smile. Like I said in Proverbs 18:24, he that will be friendly must show himself friendly. So yeah, smile. now I know a lot of us might say, oh, like my face just doesn't seem like I have a RBF. Google that. I that's this actually one feedback that I had. Like I've had a lot of people like tell me about like, oh yeah, you have an RBF, you don't seem approachable, and that was one thing I honestly had to just work on, especially as a leader. I know like not everybody will be able to kind of move past that, so I make an extra effort to smile a lot, and now it's just kind of become a part of me. Like it's just my, not that it's fake. Like I actually like it. I love my smile. Don't you love it? Don't you love it? Don't you love it? Okay, so yeah, be present. And besides just being present at Sunday services, one of the ways you could also be present is to attend the young adults meetups. So they meet up once a month, they meet up every 2 weeks, the young adults meet up every whatever. Like it's usually announced in church, or if maybe your church is not one of those that do that big announcements. Again, part of your observing, you are able to identify the movers and shakers, the people that seem to know what's going on around here. Ask them. You can just walk up to them. I would really find it really hard to believe that like they would just ignore you, like, right? So ask one of those people and be like, oh, hey, maybe you wanted to kind of find out a little bit about the young adults ministry. You want to know who the leader is. Walk up to them and ask those questions. Like, oh, I'm just kind of curious. When do we meet up? Find out about those things and attend. The amazing thing about attending your young adults ministry meetup is that the pressure is not so much. So as opposed to in a church setting where it feels like everybody and their grandfather is looking at you, like there's that high pressure because there's more people for you to kind of like, wiggle through. But in a young adults meetup, there's less people, right? So there's less people for you to, again, wiggle through if you're a shy or introverted person. There's less people for you to deal with or be forced to talk to and turn to your neighbor and say, how are you doing today? So yeah, I would say be present by attending those things. And that's really one of the ways for you to connect, because sooner or later, people will start like knowing, oh, okay, this one is a regular. You start to get to meet other people from there too. And then so that way, when you do go to church the next Sunday, like you've seen these people at your meetups, like you guys have had some interesting conversations and, engaging conversations. People are more relaxed at the meetups. So you're able to just kind of get to know people a little bit on a less pressurized, low pressure moment. So it's easier for you to see them in church and say, hey, and connect with them and, continue those friendships. So yeah, that's the second thing. So the first one we talked about was observe. So people watch really. And the next thing is to be present. And the third and the final tip I will give you when it comes to connecting with the young adults or the young adults ministry in your church, especially as a new person, or you might not be new to the church and you've been going there forever. The third and final thing I would say is volunteer. Volunteer. I find it really interesting that these are one of the tips that they give us, or that career counselors will give you, like when it comes to advancing in your career, right? When it comes to getting that promotion or being more visible. Honestly, that's like you use these tips at work. So why are we not applying it to church? Like, it's still people, right? Like the same people. It's still people are still people. Like you have the basic what do you call it, human traits or whatever. So yeah, at work they would say volunteer, like be the one to put your hand up, again within reason. If you're not able to do something, don't volunteer yourself for it. So volunteer. So let's say one of they're having, the young adults ministry is having a meetup coming up. Volunteer and ask, like, oh, again, after when you're talking to the movers and shakers or the leader, welcome to the leader once you find out who that is and say, hey, we have a meetup coming up. Is there something you need help with, or can I help you with something? It could be as simple as, oh, somebody needs a ride. Can you pick them up or can you drop them off? It could be somebody, like if you have a car, of course, and the person probably even lives close to you, and so it's really nothing. Like for you, you pass by their house anyways, right? So it's not out of your way or anything. You can do that. Or it could be, hey, like, are you able to bring a pack of 24 pack water? Pick that up and bring that if you're able to afford that. So volunteer. Or it could be just helping clean up. Again, something simple. It would only take 5 minutes of your time, or helping set up. So volunteer, be one of those people to put your hands up. People would always gravitate to problem solvers than problem identifiers that just don't do anything or complain about it. So that's really one of the ways for you to connect. And again, everybody likes people that help, right? So it's just really a no-brainer. Besides volunteering in the regard of just kind of putting your hands up, if you're bold enough and you've observed enough and you're bold enough and you're one of people like me that just can't sit idle for a long time in a place, join the workforce or join the service teams, right? If maybe at your old church you used to be in the choir or used to be I don't know, in the planning department or in media or whatever, or you identify like, hey, there is a need here, why don't we have this ministry, or why don't we have this service team? And again, you're bold enough, you have the capacity to start that ministry. And that's honestly what happened when I came to my new church that I currently serve as the young professionals leader. We didn't have a young professionals group, so that was something that I felt like was needed at that time, and I spearheaded. So yeah, if you feel like, okay, there's something like that, again, look for who the movers and shakers are. It might not necessarily be you directly going to the pastor, depending on how big your church is or the processes around starting a serve group. Find out like how you can go about that. And if yours is not like starting a group, join a service team that you feel like you can serve in. Again, that's one of the ways for you to be more visible, for you to connect, because then you connect with those people anyways that you serve with, like you already be friends with them, and then you see them in, again, your young adult meetings. That's also one way for you to volunteer by actually serving. But if you, again, like I said, if you're not there yet, or you feel like, okay, you can't commit to the time, volunteer for little things. That's really the way for you to connect with the young adults ministry. So I hope these tips have been helpful. So just 3 key takeaways. The first one is to observe. Essentially, people watch, observe to find out or understand the dynamics in the culture, to find out who the leaders or the movers and shakers are. The next one is to be present, to be visible. Like, don't be one of those people that you say, oh, I've been going to this church forever, and we're like, I ain't never seen you before, right? So be present, attend young adult monthly or weekly or whatever, how often the young adults meet up. Don't just rush up after church. Say hi to a few people on your way out. And again, like, yeah, you being present in places like that, smaller groups, especially as a shy person, this is actually really key. And the third and final one is to volunteer. And again, this also works like if you're shy. So look for the leader or look for one of the leaders and volunteer in the capacity that you can volunteer. So within your means, don't go out of your way. Don't go chew or swallow more than you can. Or chew or bite more than you can swallow or chew. Volunteer within your capacity. And if you're bold enough, join a service team. Or if you're bold enough, or if you have the capacity or the time to be committed to it, join a service team and connect that way. So I think these 3, when you go through these 3 when you go to these 3 tips, they're really, really helpful. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of Manifest Hub. I hope these 3 things have been useful for you. If you have other ones to add, or other ones that you have employed as a young adult that really, really worked for you, or really, really helped a lot for you or a friend, definitely put the comment below so other people can learn from it. Again, like I always say, if you have any topics or things that you want me to talk about or share some learnings about, definitely hit me up, send me a message, and I will be able to talk about those. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you next time.